Hey guys, let's try this again. I just tried to make a video and had a little bit of technical failure, but bear with me. So here's what I'm thinking about today. I have a big announcement coming up, and we'll get to that in a second. But first, I wanted to tell you about something that's been on my mind a lot lately. And it's been on my mind a lot because of something a client said to me the other day, which they were injured recently, and we're talking about how much they miss training. And she was saying how she wishes that she had known that if she had known what it felt like to be injured a few weeks ago, she wouldn't have skipped on a day that she was just tired or it was just inconvenient, something like that, right? And I can't make that shit up. That's the stuff coaches love to hear. Oh, if only I were at the gym. But it got me to thinking, what she was really saying is that she was actually self-aware enough to realize that before she was making an excuse, now something had actually come up, but the previous thing was not that big a deal. And I think this is not talked about enough. One of the biggest factors that makes people good in fitness is not what they're doing, right? It could not matter less whether you're doing, matters a little bit, but it couldn't matter that much whether you're doing the right kind of squats or you're eating the right kind of broccoli or you're doing the right kind of, eating the right kind of supplements, whatever. I think the big X factor in training is really consistency, and the thing that allows people to be consistent over the long term is the ability to notice when you're trying to, when something comes up and you have a failure and you're trying to talk yourself out of it. Trying to talk yourself out of getting back on the wagon, that is. And there's kind of a story about this. This makes me think of a story about a farmer who has a mule. It's his favorite mule. I don't know how a farmer has a favorite mule, but here we go. So the farmer's favorite mule falls down a well, and he calls some friends to help him get the mule out of the well, and it's quickly obvious that they're not going to be able to get the mule out of the well. The mule is just going to die in this well. And they're like, all right, well, now we have a well full of dead mule. I know, this is really morbid, but we're going somewhere. Now we have a well full of dead mule, I guess we should bury it. So they start shoveling dirt, and they start shoveling dirt into the well until it starts to fill up. And all this time, they think they're burying the mule alive, but what's actually happening inside the well is the dirt falls on the mule, and the mule shakes his shoulders, and the dirt falls off, and he climbs back up on top of the dirt, and then, some more dirt hits him, and he shakes himself off, and he climbs back up on top of the dirt, and as they go to fill the well, eventually the mule just keeps climbing up, climbing up, climbing up, until he gets to the top of the well, and he walks out, and he's fine. And, this story is never popular with the animal lovers, but it is a story about the mule's success. What I like about this, though, is life is just going to throw dirt on you. Life is just going to give you reason after reason to quit. And one day it's going to be because you slept in too late and now you're only going to get half of a workout in. And one day it's going to be because you woke up and you were tired. Another day you're going to forget your gym clothes. And another day something's going to come up with family stuff. And another day boss is going to ask you to come into work early. And every day, if you let it, there will be a reason to miss a session, to miss a training session, to not do whatever it is that you're trying to do. And I think the ability to look at those small things and shake them off, the ability to even miss a day and then come back again, right? Because that's what we're really talking about, is you fall off the wagon and then you chase after that goddamn wagon. The donkey didn't wait at the bottom of the well for it to fill halfway up with dirt. He had to be deciding, right, every moment, I'm going to get out of this well. And so, yeah, anyways, that I think is kind of this hidden X factor in training, something that really distinguishes the good people from the great, the champions from all of everyone else, is that the champions have a hard day and they still go back to the gym. The champions miss a session and they get back on the wagon. And so there's a quote I really like that kind of summarizes this. It's by Winston Churchill. Churchill says, "Success is the ability to move from failure to failure without loss of enthusiasm." And that may be another one of those key factors, right? Just if you're oh, bad day, whatever, still tomorrow could be a great day, then you're doing all right. So my homework for you for the week is to be like this client that I'm kind of calling out right now. Be like her and try to notice when you're making an excuse. Are you trying to talk yourself out of something that you actually want to be doing? Maybe you could be talking yourself into it instead. So notice when you're making excuses, notice when you've fallen off the wagon, when you could still get back on it, and try to recover from that. So that's all I've got for today. As far as the big announcement goes, we're going to get to that, but I will assure you this is really exciting to me, exciting enough that I had to make my own recovery from failure. I actually had pledged to my coach that I was going to